What is up? What is up? What is up? Everyone. It is another day, another time, and another week for We'll Talk Monday. You all, we are here. I have my co-host with me on tonight. I have these three powerful young men and women of God on here with me on tonight. And we are going to come in here and we are definitely got a great discussion for y'all tonight. But before we get too started with the show, we want to do a little something like is what is up? What is up? What is up? You all. It is another day, another time, and another week for We'll Talk Monday.
What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? What's up with you? What is up? What is up? What is up? It's only up from here. What is up? What is up? What is up? Let's go. What is up? What is up? What is up? Real talk. Real talk. What is up? What is up? What is up? Real talk. Real talk Monday. Tune in to Real Talk Monday with Reverend James H. Glover III, a godly show that keeps it real.
Y'all, we are here. We are here. We are here. So we're gonna start this show off by letting my co-hosts on tonight introduce themselves. We're gonna start with the young lady right next to me, and then we're gonna go all the way around from there. We're gonna go to the guy and to the next woman from there. So you up first, sis, Miss Tevis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tevis Haney. I am with Savet Empowerment LLC. Today is actually my very first podcast experience. I am honored that the Rev invited me to be a part of the show. I am definitely looking forward to questions, conversation, and just listening to everybody's point of view and learning and growing. So thank you guys for tuning in. And if you ever need any life coaching or personal business coaching, please find me at Savet Empowerment LLC. Thanks.
All right. So y'all definitely link up with her, and we will be talking more about what she does here shortly. My bro is in the building. Look, I was not gonna have these women on here talking about toxic relationships and not have me some backup on tonight. They was not about to hang me like my Lord and Savior. So I had to go get my brother, Mr. Brian, on the line. So, bro, go on ahead, bro.
All right, y'all. My name is Coach Brian Thomas. I'm a life coach, relationship coach, dating coach, your future matchmaker. My goal is to help you on the pursuit of life, liberty, and help you develop your purpose. I'm just here to make sure these lovely ladies don't go off the rabbit trail, and make sure that there's a little bit of balance in the camp. And
Come on,
I'm
Weber.
excited to see you guys and what tonight's going to bring. And yeah, I can't wait to see what everyone has to say and learn and glean, and most of all, be able to take this information and use it to help somebody think a little bit differently than they did earlier today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And now we're going to go to my sis over here to the side, Miss Daisy. Sis, you on mute. You on mute.
Sorry. Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Dacia, also known as Daisy. I am your health and wellness influencer, owner of The Infusion. So if you need your healthy shakes, your healthy teas, you need a workout plan, you need a motivator, I'm your gal, okay? I am so honored to be here amongst some other great, awesome individuals as well. Just wanting to give insight on what we face in the dating pool currently, and just from different aspect, from a female aspect and from a male aspect, and I'm looking to do a lot more with James and you other individuals as well. Thank you all for joining.
Yes, yes, yes. So, y'all, let's jump into these questions. And tonight, if you read the flyer, you already know what we're talking about. We're talking about toxic relationships. Toxic relationships. So, we're going to start it off with a question. What is toxicity? What is toxicity? Whoever wants to answer first can.
So I'm gonna just jump in because I'm gonna be a little bit factual first. I always like to define a word. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna give you the definition, and then based off of this definition, let's see how we're gonna roll into this. So I googled, and it said a toxic relationship is one that makes you feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, or attacked. On a basic level, any relationship that makes you feel worse rather than better can become toxic over time. Toxic relationships can exist in just about any context. So that is what the dictionary tells us toxicity is. So I'm not gonna speak first by way of what I feel that it means. I'm gonna let everybody else say what they feel because I like to hear other perspectives. But I kind of just wanted to throw that definition out there.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So who wants to jump in next?
So, toxicity is the interruption of a positive pattern that is connected to your purpose and your destiny. So, anytime that there is a level of toxicity, what that does is that is a beginning of a cycle. So, when you think about toxic is something that it has to have a filter, or it has to have an avenue to go through in order to produce the results of there being something opposite of the actual purpose. So toxicity is something that is an interruption in the normality of what should be done in a particular element. And when there is toxicity, what that does is that the positivity around the traits that strongly identify you as an individual that is to connect with, it starts to repel you from those opportunities, those people, and those places.
I like that. I like
Facts.
that.
Facts. Daisy?
You mind repeating the question for me, please?
What is toxicity? What do you feel like toxicity
Okay.
is?
Um, so I kind of did a little bit of what I looked up. I like to look up vocabularies and definitions and so forth and pull certain words out. And so what I did was when I looked it up, it brought up a few words that jumped out to me. And so it's poisonous, toxic. It's poisonous. You can overdose and become lost from that thing. And also what jumped out to me was something that blinds you from your purpose, kind of like what Brian was saying. What blinds you, your sight, your walk, your purpose, and what you know that you normally should be doing, you're distracted from that thing because it becomes poisonous to your life's purpose. And so that's what jumped out to me, the fact that it becomes so poisonous, you no longer have a walk, a straight walk in what you should be doing. And then your flesh, I don't want to become super biblically and stuff like that, but then your flesh becomes so weakened where you're doing things that you normally wouldn't do. And it becomes the deeper you go into that poison, the harder it gets for you to come out of it. And when you're on the path of coming out of a toxic relationship, it tends to pull you back because it's so poisonous. It's like I've never been to rehab, but I have friends that work in a facility like a rehab. And when you're going through a drug rehab because of that poisonous thing for so long, when you're coming from it, you have relapse. And so if you're not getting a proper healing and care and time away from that toxic person, it tends to pull you back, not because you want to, your mind knows that that's not good for you, because hello, you're hurt, you're crying, you're being abused, but the flesh and it poisons you so much, it's hard.
Yeah, hold on. She'll
People
be
keep
back.
going back because, like a drug, you keep. And so that was what I gathered from the definition and pulling those words out.
Right. You know, when I think of toxicity, and thank you both for sharing, because I think that was great for both of you guys. Perspectives. This is what I love about panels, because you see all these perspectives and things that you normally don't see or hear. But I think about like the chronic anger, the chronic sarcasm, being extremely like opinionated or judgmental, right? Just to the point to where the person is so extremely uncomfortable that having conversation becomes hard. You know, expressing a certain need or desire from your partner becomes uncomfortable, or you get scared with these uneasy, uncomfortable feelings that you don't even want to communicate with them anymore, right? And it shouldn't be hard to talk to a person. So I feel that when the toxicity comes, it comes in the format of someone being extreme in situations where it's not really necessary, right? So I just pretty much echo everything that you guys said. So yes, along with just everything being so exaggerated in their expression that it kind of waters you down, kind of dumbs you down, and make you feel like you can't, verbalize or express yourself, for sure.
I feel that. And basically what y'all said is very true. And that is basically what toxicity is. Toxicity is all of those things combined up into one. It can be poisonous, it can be dangerous, it can mess with you not only physically, but it can mess with you mentally and spiritually as well. Because you can become so addicted to this thing as toxic that you are doing things that you don't normally do, like has already been stated. So I definitely agree with that. And to the people that are watching, if at any point you have any comments or questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section. Please, ma'am, please, sir. We are open to it. And the next question that I have is the word toxic thrown around too much? Is the word toxic thrown around too much? I'm gonna go with my boy Brian first, and then we'll work our way on up to the ladies. Brian, do you feel like the word toxic is thrown around too much?
I think it's thrown around too much with individuals that want to play the blame game and they don't want to necessarily do the work. So when you don't want to do the work, what you'll do is you'll find a word that is associated with something that is easily accessible to a thought that everyone would consider to be easily to identify. But toxicity is something that it is subtle, and it is something that it has a reputation. So I think that before you call someone toxic, you should really get to know who they are, and you should have a level of interaction with them that is continuous with a level of connection where you can make that statement. But when I see people that say, "Oh, this person is toxic," like think about how many celebrities are told they're toxic because of one song that they wrote. They say, "Oh, they're toxic," you know. But then you look at the rest of the album is not. They wrote one toxic song. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you an example. So, um, there was a song that was written years ago. I think by the girl's name was Nivea, and the name of the song was "Girl Fight." And it's like, oh, that's a toxic artist. The rest of her music was more subtle and more, calming. But that one song, everybody, oh, she's toxic. So you have to actually interact with people before you can call them toxic.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with that, bro. All right. Let's go with Miss Tevis. What do you feel? Do you feel like the word toxic is thrown around too much?
So I kind of straddle the fence on this. I think that it in some cases isn't thrown around enough. And what I mean by that is we have so many people, male and female, who are in toxic situations that don't always realize it. It's almost like it's something that they're probably used to. It's almost like a norm for them. So if you look on the outside, says to them after they've shared experiences with you that this toxic, then it's like that aha moment pops up in their head, right? So part of me feels like it's not said enough, because those that have been in it, probably that's like a norm for them. But then you have like the gentleman said, Brian, is that his name? Is it
Mhm.
Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. Like Brian said, those that just throw it around because they don't want to do the work. So I kind of straddle the fence on it. I can't say it's thrown around too much or not enough. I think it does need to be talked about, because it's not, to me, in some cases, talked about enough.
I would agree with that. Daisy.
All right, so I'm also in the middle on that. I feel that it is thrown around a lot because it becomes a trend. Everything in society becomes a trend, and it becomes used and abused in the wrong context, in the wrong circumstance. Um, every word. You go on Instagram or Facebook and you see on a post a picture and it says toxic. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just in that way is where it's being taken out of, it's being used and abused, because people are just using the word, not really knowing that people are in some serious, harmful, toxic situation. And I can agree with what she just said also on the other fence, where some people are so used to being hurt, some people are so used to being damaged that that's their comfort, and they don't really know how we broke down the definition and we looked it up. I also feel that it's not being recognized in the relationships that is actually experiencing toxic, because they don't really know what that thing looks like, because that's their familiar place. So I feel that we do need to be educated in what toxicity is, and what those traits come with and what it looks like. Because if you're being example, if you're being called out of your name or something like that, and that's just what someone's used to, that's toxic. Because you become so comfortable with that, and then they don't talk about it. They'll say, oh no, that's just how he talks, or just that's just how she talks. So we got to know what things really mean, and not use it out of context, and not use certain words as straight, because certain things too also are triggers for some people that really do go through it and know what the meaning of being toxic is. You know what I'm saying? Someone could just have a normal conversation, and I witnessed it, where, oh no, that's toxic. And that was a trigger for someone that's involved in a toxic situation. So I feel like we need to really be educated on what terms mean, what words mean, what it looks like, and use it the right way, and stop throwing it out there to every conversations that you have.
Right. Don't abuse it. Don't
Yeah,
abuse
I agree. Because, like y'all said, there are some people that are actually in toxic situations, and if we throw this word around so much, then the ones that's actually in these toxic situations will just look at it. People that aren't will look at it as, well, we done use this word so much that what's really toxic and what's not. We kind of forget that sometimes.
it. It kind of
So,
normalizes a negative.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And last question before we go to a quick commercial break, y'all. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. But last question I have for y'all: do you think we have become addicted to toxicity?
Absolutely. There are some things that um there's some things that I am privy to see in some of the relationship spaces that really people are looking to coexist with some level of toxicity. And some elements I don't understand. It's like there's some people, they have to have a level of toxicity in order to function in a
Yes.
relationship. And so
Mm, mm,
because that happens, what we have is we have these trends of relationships where men and women are accepting of lower than their purpose and lower than what they're valued. And so then it's like when something that is as less toxic or no toxicity is in the equation, they feel like something is wrong. And I think part of it has to do with the programming.
Mhm.
I heard this uh this point of view a few days ago, and we were looking at like the shows in the 80s that we watched a whole lot of, like Family Matters and different things like that,
Mhm.
how a lot of those shows were, or like the Cosby Show, a lot of those shows gave a healthy point of view of marriage.
Mhm.
But then when we got to the 90s, the people were addicted to a show called Martin. Now, when did the show Martin end? The show Martin it ended when they got married.
Mm.
mm.
It So you saw all the toxicity of a relationship that you didn't know whether or not, or whether it was going to get to marriage. Or
Mhm.
when it got to marriage, now
What did they
all of that
say?
stuff that you saw, it had to go out the window.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah. And if you think about that, Dwayne and Whitley was the same way. You know, the series ended kind of when they were, well, when they were going down the aisle, and then that was even dramatic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't
The
ever think
Jamie
about
Foxx show is the same way. The
it.
Jamie Foxx show is the same way.
Yeah.
Fresh
Wow.
Prince of Bel Air, same way.
That's a good perspective. And then, you know, when you get into the 2000s, I mean, what is it now, right? It's a mixture of so many things at this point. Um, Addicted is a very, very strong word. I think that we definitely become, you know, if we're in a relationship, an unhealthy relationship, we definitely become addicted to the unhealthiness because we love someone so much, because we become insecure in ourselves, whether we've picked up weight over the years, whether we don't feel like we're going to find somebody else that will love us better. And so I do think that we definitely become used to that behavior, so much so that when we do finally, sometimes after years and years of the toxicity, and start dating, you see all of these things that you really haven't healed from. Now, this new person that's trying to court you, um, you know, they're having to receive the wrath of all the pain that came from the person before him or she, right? So it's almost like when somebody is being good to you and treating you good, like, is this
You don't
okay?
know how to act.
Is this normal? That seems
Yeah.
weird. You know, and you just kind of have to sit back and think, no, this is okay. This is how I'm supposed to be treated. So I definitely do feel that people become addicted to it, or addicted to everything that's within it, whether it's a home, whether it's children, whether I've become insecure because I picked up weight, or because I know that he loves me or he or she loves me outside of A, B, C, and D. I mean, yeah, I guess we can call that addiction. I guess we can, because guess what? We're not leaving. So something keeps drawing you back, like a drug, right? It keeps drawing you back. So yeah, I guess I should say that I do believe that toxicity can be can become addicting to someone, for sure, for sure.
Okay. Daisy.
I do also agree that toxicity is an addiction, because what is it? It's a drug, right? Like we all read the definition. It's a drug. Um, it's kind of like when, like what she just said, what I said earlier, when you are used to a familiar thing and a good thing comes along, you're so used to, and you, in the terms of what you asked, you're so addicted to being treated the wrong way, you can't recognize when you're being treated in a healthy way.
Mhm.
Like the another example, a lot of, and I see a lot of it and I hear a lot of it. Oh, he's too nice. Okay, so and I can give a really close example of someone I used to, work with. Oh, he's too nice, and I know of her ex boyfriend really used to just disrespect her. So I'm just giving that example, not to put anyone out there, but to show that it really becomes an addiction of how you are treated in your previous relationship, not healing from that, not knowing how you really should be treated, not knowing your worth, not being used to being abused verbally, and now you meet this healthy thing, this thing that calls you queen, or this thing that calls you king. Oh, he's too nice, she's too nice. And so they're addicted to what comes with toxicity. They're addicted to what the poison that they got leached to, that as we will say biblically, I hate to keep doing that, but you become in bondage with it. And it's a spiritual tie where if you don't hear yourself, you can't heal yourself. But if you don't do the proper work and the necessary steps before you continue to another relationship, what you're doing is you're adding that hurt, that trait, that bad toxic trait from that last relationship into the next one. And then if that person, then because you're so used to being treated in the wrong way with toxic traits, then that person's toxic trait, because toxicity come in different forms. Okay, so that new relationship, because you like toxicity, and or that's what you're addicted to, I should say, then you get leached onto that, and then it carries on. You don't give yourself time to do, like Ryan was saying before, the necessary work to heal. And hurt people, we know that,
Right.
we know it. And no one wants to take the time to heal. They want to then jump to another relationship thinking that relationship is going to heal them. But in all honesty, what that does is then carries on baggage. And then they put their toxic traits onto the next person that may not be toxic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then it becomes a domino effect.
Yep. Just like hurt people, heal people. Right?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah.
So y'all, before we go to commercial, there was a question that was asked. And I want
There's
to
been a
answer
couple that's been really good. Go ahead though. Go ahead.
Yeah, is there any subjectivity when it comes to toxicity, or is it objective? Any one of y'all can answer that.
She asked
Whoever
a
wants
heavy
to jump
question.
first.
She has a heavy one.
Yep.
That's deep. You
Yeah.
got to put that one. You got to put that one in the parking lot.
Woo. Yep. Mm.
I think, to
Any
be
other women
honest,
want to answer that?
I think it's more subjective
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think toxicity is anyone's objective. I think it is something that it happens subconsciously. It's something that happens that we're not really trying to. I don't believe there are a majority of people that are trying to, their objective is to come in and destroy somebody's life through their toxic ways. I think that some majority of the people that have toxicity that they deal with, it is something that they may not be able to see. And that's why therapy and coaching brings an awareness of those aspects that we cannot see. Because if it's your objective to be toxic,
there's deeper issues on your part for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And, subjectivity is like the influence by, right? You're influenced by somebody's personal something, right? Like, crazy example, but, I'm going to subject my child to running into this fire with me. Well, what? She's going to try to go. She's not going to go. She's not going to go with me, right? But when you're in this relationship and you're in it every day, this negative energy, this negative talk, this degrading, demeaning, they are subjecting you to this energy that they have, right? Like you said, I don't feel like people are intentionally, I would hope, going into a situation or a relationship to dummy somebody down or water somebody down or hurt or hinder somebody, right? I think for some people it may come in time, or some people may do it and not aware that they do it, right? They're not aware of it because maybe it was done to them from childhood up. So this is a norm for them, right? Not being told that talking to people and treating people like this is not okay, right? So I don't think that in their forefront of their brain, I would hope not, that people are just going in with the intent to hurt or to belittle or to pour negative energy into people. That would be my hope.
Amen. Daisy.
I also agree. I would hope no one is going into a relationship purposely to hurt or harm someone.
Mhm.
And I know we are all adults, and we should be well aware of what's wrong and what's wrong and what's right, right? And I know a lot of times situations happen, and an individual will say, well, he or she should know better. We're adults. Like Treve, I want to say your name correctly. Is it
Tevin.
Tevin? Okay.
Mhm.
Like she was just saying, it could be something that was carrying on from childhood. And they never got the healing that they need. Seeing their mom and their dad go through that, and then it carried over. And so they're used to telling their lady, calling their lady out their names and stuff like that, because that's their familiar.
Mhm.
And they may then go and say sorry because they know it's wrong.
Mhm.
But again, they never went to an actual therapist to do the work, because we can't do the work ourselves. Let's stop trying to do the work ourselves, people. Please, let's stop trying to heal on our own, especially when you suffer from trauma from childhood. These are things that you cannot heal on your own. Yes, you can pray, but God's going to lead you to someone that can help you. Okay. So we know it's wrong, because then you'll go on and apologize for those things. You know what I'm saying? And then go back and do it again, because this is what you're used to. This is what you've known all your life. You're used to telling a woman to go sit that, down and things like that, or a female, verbally abusing her man, because she know that man won't raise his hand. He won't raise his hand at her, because that's what she's used to. And like I was saying before, it's just it transfers over into relationships if you're not taking the steps you need to realize that it's wrong and it's hurtful, and get help for it. So I really honestly don't wholeheartedly believe that anyone goes into a relationship. I pray to God that no one goes into a relationship trying to hurt someone verbally, physically, or any way that may be harmful to them in any shape.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Couldn't have summed it up better myself. So at this point, we're going to go to a real quick commercial break, but I promise y'all we'll be right back with y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the Spin Award nominated Real Talk Monday. We appreciate you for taking time out of your busy day to listen to our show. Please tune in to the podcast, which drops every Tuesday at midnight. Also, tune in next week as we have another awesome interview for you. Please go and like us on Facebook at Real Talk Monday, Instagram at Real Talk Monday, TikTok at Real Talk Monday, and YouTube at RevJHG3 Ministries. Go subscribe to us. Also, if you have anything that you would like us to discuss, you can always email us at realtalkmonday1@gmail.com. Be blessed. All right, y'all. What is up, y'all? The Spin Award nominated Real Talk Monday officially has merch for sale. These t-shirts right here, you can get them in any color that you want. Plus, they are only $20 for a small to a large. Extra large is $30, and then shipment is only $5 extra. Message me in my inbox to find out more information on how you can order your t-shirt, and we will definitely get with you all right? Love y'all. Be blessed and be blessing to someone else. God bless. And we are back. We are back. We are back. Once again, we thank you all for tuning in tonight. We got a few more questions for our viewers, and we are going to, for our panelists, and we're going to keep on going higher and higher. For the ones of you who have already ordered the t shirts from Will Talk Monday, we appreciate you ordering. And please be patient with us. The t shirts are on the way. We had a little slip up with the manufacturer, so we had to switch who we went with. And at this time, we are working on the second batch of t-shirts right now. So y'all stay patient. I do promise that you will be getting your t-shirt soon. Everyone that ordered will be getting their t-shirt soon. And now that we are with a better manufacturer, I do believe we will not have these problems anymore. So stay patient with us, and thank you for rocking with us. These next, this next question is one question, but I'm gonna put three parts in it. So the first part of the question is how has dating been during COVID? Has it been easier or harder? And the second part of the question is, has social media helped dating? And how do we improve the stigma of dating in this generation? Those are the three parts to that question. So, who wants to start it off? Once again, the questions are: do you think has dating been easier or harder during COVID? Has social media helped us while dealing with dating? And how do we improve the stigma of dating in this generation?
Listen, they making the faces because they know I'm about to say something. You know,
And that's why I
I'm
put
about
that
to,
question in there because
I'm
I
about to say
know
something life
my
changing.
boy is about to go in.
Listen, all right, during COVID, I went out here in these dating streets in COVID. Let me go ahead and tell you now. COVID hit the body and it hit the dating streets. I have never in my lifetime ever seen as many crazy people during the time frame than we got the COVID.
Man.
Man, listen, people laying out their whole lives, people risking it all. I mean, ladies that wouldn't give the fellas a chance, giving fellas a chance.
Wow.
Yes,
Didn't
sir.
nobody care about no didn't nobody care about no high value man, how much money you made. Everybody was stuck at the house ordering Amazon packages and different things like that. It got crazy during COVID because now what it was is that you couldn't go to work and hide behind your job. You actually had to like really get to know people. And so um you saw a lot of individuals who started shooting, like a lot of individuals start shooting their shot. Like I'm gonna tell you about something about the men. The men all of a sudden got bold at COVID because they're like, well, ladies, we know the one that you want. He's stuck in the house and he ain't trying to spend his money because he ain't bringing in, they shut everything down. So you're going to have to choose from the 36 DMs and they all getting the same amount of money. Everybody getting unemployment. It's just a matter who get a little, it's just a matter of who,
You know
who
what?
check come in first. You know what I mean? And so it got worse because you could no longer hide behind the stuff that you could hide in social media. You had to, you had to really get to know people. And when you got to know people, let's be honest, people lied and said, hey, I'm this and that. And then when they start releasing COVID restrictions, You thought he was 5. You thought he was 6'2". You found out he was 5'6" with a bald spot. Every time he went to the barber shop, he put that spray paint on, what they call that Beijing, got that little white line. You found out he was lying.
Well,
It got worse. And then for the ladies, you know what I mean? Like they couldn't put on makeup, they couldn't put all that jewelry. You had to come to us barefaced. We had to accept you as you were. With this song by Mary J. Blige, Take Me As I Am, or Have
I
Nothing at
don't
All. You couldn't put no makeup on. What you doing sitting in the house, all these COVID restrictions, and you got on that makeup?
I used to put my makeup on in the house, okay?
For what?
Because I was doing shows like this through the whole pandemic.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
she
yours is a
would.
little bit different. Yours is a little bit different, but some of them, they putting on that makeup on. Oh, we're gonna do a virtual date. You door dashing some potato chips. Oh no, it got worse. So yeah.
Well, for me, to me, it was the same. I don't feel like anything changed during COVID as far as the dating world is concerned. Definitely wasn't going out to meet anyone at the peak of COVID. I recall having a couple of virtual dates, and a year later, the person was like, "Yeah, you came on with no makeup, and you had your t-shirt on and your jogging pants." I'm like, "We were watching a movie. Like, I'm in the comfort of my own. I don't wear makeup, right? I just put this on because I didn't know how the lighting was going to be today, but I'm not a makeup wearing person, right? So I don't feel that COVID, I felt like the dating world was the same for me during COVID. And as far as social media, did it help with dating? I mean, I'm not out in these streets like that, right? So yes, social media, online dating does help me to meet people in my community or in my city. But which is good. And I've met wonderful people, but I've not made a love connection, right? So, I guess it would be the same if I was out in these streets and met people. I don't know if it would be different, but I don't know. You had one more question. What was the other question?
How do we improve this stigma of dating in this generation?
Whew. Let me tell you something. I guess I'm kind of still old school. I don't like to say chase, but I definitely want to be courted. I'm not the woman that I want a man to show me that they're interested in me. I desire you to show me that you're interested in me. If I'm equally interested, you will know that, right? I'm not one of those fakers, sugarcoaters. Like, either I want to get to know you or I don't. But I'm not a chaser. I've recently had to tell a couple people, like, if you're waiting for me to initiate every single thing, you're going to keep waiting. Because, I mean, dang, if you're thinking about me, text me. If you want to talk on the phone, call, right? Why do I have to initiate all that? Or you're saying, hey, hi, or waving, and that's it. Does men know how to communicate? Do they know how to start a conversation? I mean, you on this dating, what are you on here for? Like, the conversation has to go both ways. Like, hey, I can preach to y'all on this one, okay? Sister 44, I've been single for a long time. So I'm just saying, so I don't know. I mean, the stigma of dating, I do feel like the new generation of women are more aggressive in their approach, and men like that more, right? Every once in a while, you'll find someone in my age range that, has that equal mindset that I do. And, it's great, right? So I think that, I love my Black men. I love men. But I think that they have gotten lazy in their approach when it comes to dating. I do want to be courted. I do want to be courted. That doesn't mean that you've got to just chase me. But I want to know that you're interested in me. I definitely do want to know that for sure.
All right, Daisy.
I thought Brian wanted to say something. So I was letting
Go
Brian.
ahead, Brian.
So What do we do to
Mm-mm.
change? Y'all really want to know what to do to change?
Come
Yes,
with
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
Come
Come
with it.
on,
So,
come on.
so this is how we change this aspect of dating. Number one, we have to teach, or we have to instruct the people that you need to slow down and you need to have a grip on your purpose, because I think where people take dating and the relationship, they don't take it seriously. They take it as, if I'm dating you, you're my territory. No, dating
Mm.
is discovery. I need to discover as much about you before I make an investment. And so I think we need to understand what investments we need to put in the portfolio of our lives.
Mhm.
Some investments you don't need to make, which means that you need to understand that dating someone is going to be a trial period. You need to say, okay,
Right.
in this 30,
That's right.
45 days that I'm getting to know you, what are some characteristics that match up with what I already know that I desire to have in my life? Where's my life headed in the whole scheme of things? Am I attracted to them because they look good initially? And that's all I'm looking at. Am I attracted to them because, okay, when I have a conversation with them, they make me think? Does it make logical sense for me to pursue this particular individual when I have all of these things that I am doing? And how do I, with the information that I have obtained, how do I implement that into my life and what it is that I'm desiring to do? Because I think a lot of times people go into dating like how folks go into the grocery store
Mhm.
Mm.
hungry. When you
Mhm.
go into the grocery store hungry, what do? You
Pick up.
start buying chips and snacks and
Mhm.
honey buns and Oreos and all this other stuff. When you intended on going in and spending $50, you spend $250
Yes,
because
sir.
you went in there not determining what you need, but you went in there with your appetite the highest. So the first thing that you need to do is, okay, understand, what is your appetite? What is something that you like, and you need to figure out where that come from? Do you need
Mhm.
to figure out, is that appetite something that came from an unhealthy place? Is that an appetite from something that you know for a fact and sat down, tried, tested, and true? Or
Mhm.
is that appetite a curiosity that really needs you to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that mentors you?
Mhm.
Mm.
And understanding that dating takes time. I
Absolutely.
see too many people up and down my timeline who are doing their best to get across the other side. I want to be married. I want to have a family. Do you know how much sacrifice and accountability it takes to get to the other side?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
you need to measure that in the dating aspect.
Mhm.
And so, to be honest, majority of people, you need to slow down and discover, who are you?
Who?
Because
That's
if you don't discover who you are, you will become what your appetite says you are.
yes. 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 You're right. I agree with that. Like that is 100%. Like I was telling some of my friends, and they kind of got tickled, but I was like, for a year, like truly just dating myself. Dating me. I was going to the mall or going to the movies or going out to eat by myself. I'd go to a lounge by myself. I wasn't going with the intent that somebody was going to try to holler at me. I really didn't care. But I wanted to get to know Tevis. I wanted to know who I was. I want to fall in love with me, right? Because when that happens, then you don't have to worry about you want someone to match your joy, to match your happiness, not somebody to make you happy, right? To give you joy. You want somebody to match where you are, and and in like insinuate or accent that more, right? You want someone to add on to it, not to just make you happy, right? I think it's a fine line between that, but I think that it is just strong. But that courting is, for me, is serious, right? And you are right. Like until you know who you are and what you want, you are going to just be picking any and everything that's going to come around. You're going to sometimes settle. You're going to kiss a lot of frogs, right? Until that prince comes, until you just sit and be still. I've heard recently in dating the question, have you been married? No. Have you at least been proposed to? If that's what you want to call it. And if I say no, then what? Well, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I have a team that means a lot to me, and I can't just bring anybody into our space, right? First and foremost. But you've been married 3 times, and I ain't been married at all. But I ain't judging you. I ain't judging you. You know what I'm saying? So that is a stigma, like a major stigma. Like if you are in your 40s and never been married or engaged, then something's wrong with you. No, it's nothing wrong with me. I've been growing. I've kissed some bad frogs, right? But I'm still growing, every day. So there are a lot of different stigmas once you get a certain age on why you've not been married or not proposed to at the very least, right? So yeah. Sorry, Daisha.
Go on, Daisy.
So the first question was, oh goodness.
The first question
doing
was
COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how has dating changed during COVID? Has it been easier or harder?
So I was single for 7 years. During COVID, I still wasn't interested in dating. Do people try to talk to me? Of course. Well, I don't want to sound like that.
Of course. Yes. Oh, of course. Keep your crown on your head. Whatever. Of course. Yes. Go ahead.
The one that wore makeup during COVID. You better accept it. You better walk in your car.
When I say makeup, honestly, I just wear lipstick. Like my skin, it's just my skin. It's no foundation. Like I don't do,
I'm giving you props. I'm saying let's just lift up your head. Lift up your head. You better get out of Proverbs 30 and go to Proverbs 31 and 10. Right. Stop playing.
Listen, no, but it was a hot mess. Okay, so during COVID, I decided, because we were around family a lot. So my parents, my aunt, my sisters, everyone's like, maybe it's time for you to give someone a chance. Okay. So in the midst of COVID, I decided to sign up for Facebook dating. Okay. Because I've heard a lot of successful stories from it. I had some really dope sisters that met their husband on Facebook dating. So I was just like, okay, let me try. I don't think God's ready for me to be with anyone yet. But I was like, okay, so I got on there. Maybe, I don't know. It's a mess. No one wants to really, from what I've been getting, no one wants wants anything serious on there. Everyone wants to play game. I made it clear on my profile what exactly I am, not saying I'm looking, but what my purpose, my long-term purpose in the dating looks like, because we're dating with a purpose, okay? And I have a lot of profiles that hit me up, just looking for someone to chat with, looking for a threesome. Like, don't y'all read? So let me
wait. You ain't gonna just skate past that like you didn't say what you just said. Looking for a threesome? What?
Wait, what's threesome you talking about? Like, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit? Or one woman, one
man? I'm trying to figure out what?
A woman, a man, and I guess they were trying to get me.
Husband and wife. Yeah,
I've done that a few times, not even just once. Yeah, but a few times. Mm-hmm. And so what it did was it made me go back into my shell. Okay, because that's how much of a mess it was. After 7 years, I thought things would change, and stuff like that. And it, like Brian was saying, I don't know if something was in the booster shot, the COVID, or the vaccine, but people out here are wilding. And when I say that, I mean it in the craziest way. I'm toning it down a notch, but like I've had men on there hit me up asking how they can do certain things to me on the first message to me. And I'm just like, I'm like praying. I'm like, God, what spirit is on me that they would approach me in that way? I'm a grown woman. Okay. I'm not a little kid. I don't have revealing type pictures. I wouldn't even post stuff like that. So with me being fully clothed, and everything like that. Why would you approach me in that manner? I'm a grown woman. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna keep the little thing and check it here and there. Still haven't made no connection or nothing like that. Okay, so that's with that. That's mess. Dating through COVID was nothing. And then to the second question, I guess I kind of summed up the second question too, with the social media part, because it drove me to create a dating site, which was Facebook Dating. I did a little bit. I tried POF. And I deleted that thing. Oh goodness. Oh God. Listen, that thing made me just it's scary because I'm at a place where I'm really content with just myself. And I know, and God's been dealing with me with that. He's been just telling me that he's getting me there, but it was just so scary, and it's so scary out there, and you don't know who's really genuine, and just seeing what's being thrown at you. Like I have standards, and I have boundaries, and I don't settle for just anything. And so when they know that they can't overstep certain things that another woman may allow them to do, then they're no longer interested. But that's okay, because I'm weeding them out. Weeding them out. So then to answer your last question, how we can change that is communication
on both ends. Stigma.
Okay. So communication on both ends. Please communicate what you're looking for, make it clear. Don't entertain. If that man or that woman comes and say, I'm not looking for anything serious right now, but we can date to see where it goes. They're not ready for a relationship if you're ready for a relationship. And I'm not saying with time, it may not change somewhere down the line. He may have to date a few other women, or she may have to date a few other men to realize, okay, I'm ready to settle down. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot change someone from being not ready to ready. Okay, so please stop trying to change a person to being ready. Like example, I was talking to a guy before I decided to, not date or nothing for 7 years, and that's when I was younger and a little not so much knowledgeable and stuff, and so we were just talking, no relationship or nothing on it, for a while, for a few months, and now this man is engaged. But I'm saying this to say that when a man or a woman is ready, they will be ready. We cannot make them ready.
That's right.
So that's one way we can change that. You cannot make someone ready until they're ready. Okay. Setting healthy, respectful boundaries and standing on them. Stand on your boundaries. If you have non-negotiables and negotiables, you know what you will want to allow and what you won't ease up on. Stand your grounds on that, so that somewhere down the line you won't what's the word I'm looking for? You won't have resentment on that person for not wanting to commit or give you the ring that you want. Stop chasing a ring. Y'all not chasing, or we, I should say, because I hate to title people, but in society, and I feel like a lot of people are no longer changing the purpose of marriage, of the union. They're changing the flowers and the dress and the ring. And then when it comes time to, after the reception is over and you got to go home under one roof with this man and this woman, they don't want to put in the work of what marriage really looks like, because you're chasing this fairy tale thing that you see on social media from the celebrities. You're chasing the thing that, marriage is, I want to have, and a baby and a child cannot change someone's mind either. Stop trying to get that man stuck, ladies, and fellas, stop doing what you're doing without protection. And okay, so bottom line, Conversation. Let's talk. Let's be adult.
Communication.
Let's pull away when that thing isn't what it looks like for you and what your heart's desire and what your posture is lining to what you see ultimately. We're dating with a purpose. If you want to date with a purpose and he's not ready to date with a purpose, pull away then. What our topic here is toxicity. Don't enter into a thing on a healthy perspective for yourself, and then because you're having high hopes and dream that somewhere along the line that person may change for you, then it develops into a toxic situation for you. So communicate and set your boundaries and stand on them.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And just what I want to say, don't date potential. Don't date potential. Because if he ain't what you desire right now, just like you're saying, he is going to, you can't change him. You can't make him any of that stuff, right? So you hear a lot of women say, well, I mean, they have potential or maybe in time. No. What you see is what you're getting right now, okay? I want an already made man in whatever capacity God wants to give that to me. God has to give that to me, right? Communication, top notch, having values and morals, stick to them and be confident in that. Any man that sees you for you is going to respect that no matter what. Or woman, be confident in that. So yeah, I echo definitely that. Communication and having your values and morals and don't date potential. Date what you want, right? What you desire, what you feel like God is placing in front of you for sure.
Right.
Very true. It's so funny because I can look back and just from that question right there, how has dating been for me since COVID season? I can honestly say that I have found myself in some crazy situations. Brian, Daisy, do not look at me like that. Both of y'all already know. Woo! Some of the situations that I found myself in was situations I would have never got myself in if it was not for that. But you had so much time on your hand and you like, you know what, I can change this person. This is how they acting now, but trust me, I can change how they acting. I can change them. And as I look at it now, I'm like, that time that I was wasting trying to change that person, I could really spend that time preparing myself for who God has for me. So stop ignoring the red signs, red flags too. Stop ignoring them.
That's key.
Yeah.
Don't keep looking past things. Oh, it's just small. It'll pass. Like, no. Don't do that. That's true.
Like Daisy will tell you, I have one that literally found my address and sent me a gift in the middle of us arguing. And sent her my address. She found it from looking at a photo that I had showed her, zoomed in on the photo and took my address and sent me the gift. I'm like, and at first I'm like, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. But then as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that wasn't cute. That was crazy. Why are you sending me a
It's a sign. Right. I'm glad you told on yourself, so I wouldn't have to tell on you because I was gonna tell on you to set an example, not to call you out, but to show a perfect example.
No. I will tell on myself.
There.
Oh my goodness! I will tell on myself.
Right.
I will tell on myself. I knew it was toxic, and
now, James, is it the same situation that?
Oh no! That was different. That was different. But that was different, bro.
Listen, now I listen. I do my best. I usually do my best not to cut up, but that one right there, I said you don't even need a therapist. You need to You don't even need a therapist. You just need to go knock on hell's door and say, let me in for 5 minutes and then come back to earth and realize you crazy. That one, my God.
Man, Brian already knows one. That one right there, bruh. Man, and as I look at it now, I can honestly say, like, man, I had no business being in neither one of those. Neither one. But
Listen, y'all, that one right there, she tried me. And she was like, "Bye bye this, and you supposed to be a man of God." And I said, "I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now." I said, "I'll save 95% of the time, but this 5% of the time, I'm about to cut you a check for your behind." That's what I told her. I did. Don't do that.
no.
So how about covenant relationships are not the majority in the culture, but entanglements and open relationships are the norm?
I was just about to hit on that. Will Smith and Jada. Will Smith and Jada. Will and Jada. Then you look at other couples that are getting divorced right now that we look up to as relationship goals. Sister. I think Tia is divorcing her husband. Then you have the coach of the Boston Celtics. He and his fiance going through it. Then you have all of these different couples that we look at as relationship goals, but yet and still, why?
Listen, let me just say something really quick. Okay, so I gotta correct you because I know you're probably not talking about just us on here, but I don't idolize and look at those people and set my eyes on them as an example of what marriage should be. That's number one. Okay. So I still desire marriage, beautiful marriage of respect, love, trust, not cheating. I still desire that. Them going through what they're going through has no effect whatsoever on how I feel and how I see marriage should be. They're still learning that. Okay. So that and I see what you're saying. I've seen a lot of people, I've seen comments. Oh, there it goes. They're getting divorced, so there's no hope for us. Like, why y'all have culture controlling what love should be?
Yeah,
they don't even know because before it came to the public eye, now all these tapes are coming out. They never respected each other. How they spoke to each other, that's not love. So why would you be so discouraged now that you're getting the divorce and you're seeing all these tapes being leaked on how they had interviewed, how he was like, pulling away from her. I'm talking about Tia and her husband or ex-husband, whatever. That they honestly had issues, underlying issues in there before. And so they're learning still what marriage should look like. Maybe they didn't do the work before a lot of times, and I think they ran and got married really, really, really fast. And I'm not saying, like Tia said, she loves her husband, but there's just things that she can no longer look over. We really don't know the story. Example for Devin, he's a preacher. Devin and Megan Good. Perfect example, right? She, long story short, she said God told her that man was her husband. Okay, that's what she said. And so she approached him, and then they started dating, and because he's a preacher and he's saying he can't date for long, and they got married, and now they're divorced. And when they first got divorced, everyone bashed him because they're saying, oh, he was a man of God. And then he allowed her to wear these short things and do all these movies and things like that. Can we set an example of what our own marriage should look like?
For sure.
And what love look like, and stop mirroring what celebrity and people, they're human beings just like us, and they're still learning. God is still working in them, and what God was doing through them may have been not in a light where it should be looked at negatively, but in a light where take the time to do the work the right way instead of rushing in it because that's what you feel should happen. Because on his sense, he was a preacher and he can't date for long. Why not? If you feel like you're not ready to marry this woman, that means that there's work that needs to be done before you become a union, because now you're divorced. So I think a lot of us should look at it not as, well, we shouldn't get married because they're getting divorced, but it should be looked at as a lesson learned that take your time, do the work. I can't stress that enough. Do the work. Let's stop rushing into these things to then come back out and be scarred and hurt. And then these people, God, I feel like also God is using these people because in 1 week, I think it was back to back divorces, back to back. And I think it was just a union created on the wrong soil, on the wrong motives. And God is just pulling what don't belong. And no one's looking at it like that. I just see everyone's looking at it in a negative way. And honestly, if two people are together and aren't happy, they weren't happy to begin with. They got married on the wrong terms and they allowed themselves to do what culture have been showing them, what the what they're familiar with, and they want to, so, like example, it's a rapper and two rapper. It's I think what's her name, Baby Blue or something like that. Like that whole situation is so toxic. Let's talk about toxic. But it comes to find out, people were looking at them as now they're dating, but comes to find out that they were really doing it for money and because we're so easily influenced. They were doing it just for money, and they got to what they needed to get. So I just want to say to everyone, stop looking at these celebrity relationship as an example.
Yeah. If I had to say I idolize any relationship, any marriage, and my parents are definitely still married after 46 years, which is a blessing. And they were babies when they got married. And I'm not saying that it's been easy, but they have definitely stuck it out and are walking through it together. Right. And if I had to say I idolize any relationship, it would have to be my grandparents. Right. When I look at my grandfather, who is a pastor, and my granny, and how he loved my granny, like unconditional. I don't know if you want to say it's that old school love. Well, if that's what it is, that's what I want.
That's the best love.
Yeah.
So, and my granny was a firecracker. She ain't play, but she loved her husband, and he loved her, to her dying day, just to see how much he to this day loves her. And she's been gone almost 5 years now. That is a relationship. That is a love. I know I want God to send me my own personal love. I know it won't be like my grandparents or like my parents, but I definitely want to experience someone loving me through and through unconditionally, right? Got my back, rocking with me through it all, and let's continue to grow together to be better, right? So if I had to say, I idolize any relationship, it would definitely be my grandparents' relationship, because I do want that old school, authentic love that's just unconditional. Court me, love me, get to know me, and let's just take care of each other, right? So yeah, in every aspect. So yeah.
I have a question for you can answer too as well. First, I would like to hear the guys' answer. I know we're on time, but it's something that I brought it to my sister and she said I'm a bit sensitive. But so I feel that approach goes a long way. The initial approach, right? I don't like for a man to approach me and say, "Why are you so sexy?" Am I being sensitive?
No, I don't even like for them to call me baby. That hey baby, what? I don't like that either. I mean, to me, that's like you call somebody you're close to your baby, right? Somebody you love, you respect, your child, your woman, your girlfriend. And there's a guy that's been on social media, and that's how he approaches me. Hey baby. Or like you said, guys approaching, or in first few sentences is what they can do to me or want to do to me. Or somebody saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I bet you have pretty feet." What? What am I saying? Like what? So no, I don't think you're being sensitive at all. I mean, we like what we like, period. And I would rather you not call me baby or hey, approach me with hey, beautiful. I mean, that is a compliment, but let's try a different way, right? Like, let's try a different way. So no, I personally don't think you're being sensitive, but some women may like that. Guys.
Brian.
I don't do all that. I better slide. I better slide DMs. I better
James,
slide
what you
DMs.
do?
Man, my
What you
DM
do,
days
James?
are over. My DM days of sliding
But
are
how did you
over.
used to slide in the DM?
What is
So
your
mine
approach?
would
How do you
be
approach?
so the approach that I would do would be I would pay attention to the woman's page. I would go to her page, find out something that she likes. After I find out something that she likes and something that she's interested in, then I would start a conversation from that. Pique her interest to study her to understand what she likes so that I could better understand how to approach her in the proper way. Because let's be real, she probably got a million people, million dudes in her inbox that'll be talking about some hey baby or some hey beautiful or some hey sexy, but not a million dudes are going to be in her inbox talking about so I see that you like this talk, let's talk about it.
Let's go even deeper. So I got a method to my madness side. So this what, fellas, if you watching this, I'm gonna put you up on game.
Come on,
So
boy.
there are women who out here, they take what I would call somewhat provocative pictures. Now, those provocative pictures are gonna bring out the dudes. Some pictures she's gonna get, it might get, 500, 600 likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then she has the ones that may get 70, 80 likes. Then she has the ones that may
Don't get
be
no
on like her page or her little profile picture that may get 2 or 3. You find the pictures that have the least amount of likes and you like them. You don't go to the one that everybody go on to, because that's what she expect. You go to the one that got the least number of likes, you click like. Now, when you click and like, you don't click
Come on,
like
bro.
in a whole consecutive, 15, 20 pictures, because then she gonna know your moves. You click like one time, that
And
lets her
then you
know,
keep
okay, you notice. Now, there's a science, there's an art to this. There's an art. It's what you do. So after you didn't click like, and let's say y'all Facebook friends or whatever, right? What you do is you don't comment on the picture where she got the little dress on about, oh, you so beautiful. Don't do that. Don't do that. You find something abstract, like she's out in the grocery store or she's at Starbucks and she's got a cup of coffee that she really likes, or it's a description. You start talking about that, because what you're essentially doing is, when you're having a conversation with her, and especially somebody you don't know, you want to have a conversation with something in an area that's going to make her think about it. So talk about something that other people ain't going to be. Other guys going to be like, oh, you so beautiful, whatever. Okay, she probably knows that she's beautiful. But why does she like the cup of coffee that she likes? You know what? She likes a certain team. Be like, hey, you a Lakers fan? Boo, I'm a Clippers fan. Oh, it's going to be back and forth. Oh, you a Clippers fan? Oh, why you ain't a Lakers fan? Now you done got a whole conversation started.
Yep. Man, you ain't never lying. You are not lying at all.
Listen, it works every single time. And then here's another thing. When you are potentially connected, then what you got to do is, okay, you made your interaction, you click your like or whatever. Okay, now this is what I do. What I do is I click like on a picture or something like that, and I might interact or throw up a little fire emoji. Okay, she notices, so it's like, okay, well, who's this? And then she gonna go to my page and she gonna see all these little statuses and she gonna bust out laughing. And then she gonna come on one of my videos and then interact. And then now, guess what? I done open up a dialogue.
That don't work for me. I must be like so far like out of it.
You said that don't work for you?
No.
Well, that's
like I
you
take someone randomly liking an old picture as like, oh, they just looking through it, and I don't think nothing else into it.
See, this Coach Brian. See, Coach Brian has a way of drawing you in to the presence of the Lord.
I have way too much to do than to be trying to
draw you in.
I notice if they are liking, they may not do it all at once, but if somebody is frequenting my page by liking my pictures, then I'm like, do I know this person?
I don't do that. See, that's the thing. Like, I'm not one of those ones that's gonna go in like a whole bunch of pictures. Like, if it's somebody that catches my attention, I'll start out with one, and then I'll make it notice, hey, okay, he clicked liked on one of the pictures or whatever. Yeah. Okay, about 13, 14 days later, I come over here again. I see, little something. You have to be with the women of today. You have to be strategic in how you are making contact. Just coming out and saying, hey, how you doing? That ain't enough. A lot of these ladies say, hey, how you doing? Okay, what you want? What you want? You want me to come participate in your Black History program? Just go ahead and get to the point. No.
What was that question?
What you saying? Hey, how you doing? Desire to be sexualized.
Sexualized.
Things that you don't desire to be sexualized.
I think he was talking about Daisy when she said that.
Yeah, but I'm still trying to. What's his definition of sexualized?
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Okay, so I can answer that. No, I don't. Because we shouldn't be talking about that right now. Like, that shouldn't even be a topic anywhere right now at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm not having sex before marriage, so no.
Yeah. And yes, we know that people see people's appearance first, and that's what usually attracts people. That's fine. But understand, there's more to me than my body. There's more to me than my face. Get to know me. Like, make love to my brain, right? Have conversation to me. Have conversation with me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like, if somebody stays focused on my physical features for more than a compliment or two, maybe
it's a turnoff.
It's a turnoff to me, for sure. For sure. I have met one guy who has not yet said anything about, now he's told me that I was beautiful, and I appreciate that, but it hasn't went any further. And I definitely appreciate that. Because to me, he is truly trying to get to know me, right? Trying to get to know me for who I am, and not all tuned into the body aspects. So yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that. The body pictures. If she got a whole lot of, if she takes a picture and it's a whole lot of skin and meat out, I'm not finna click like. I'm going to pray.
What is your prayer?
My prayer is usually, Lord, thank you for keeping me. That's usually my prayer. Because my thing is this right here. Like, when you start, some young ladies, okay, they can't help how they built. Okay, so I understand that. But then there's some, it's like they post these pictures, and I call them thirst trap pictures, and it's to get you to notice them or to get a lot of attention and create a competition. I'm sorry, like, competitions, I've been winning competitions since I was a kid. So you're not going to win that competition. But if it comes to getting to know your mind, now we're having a conversation. Now I want to get to know what's inside that brain of yours. Because she can have a beautiful body and have the IQ of a busted bag of Skittles. I'm not trying to have that.
No conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I've had somebody to ask me the same question for a whole week. What you doing? Like, really?
Where you at? You got plans?
I'm so
Don't say that.
listen, I'm so big on conversation. I can be so drawn to you just by your conversation,
Right.
stimulate my mind with your words, with your intellect.
Right.
Don't ask me every day what I'm doing working. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Every
Mm,
day, the same time. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've
we got to do
gotta
better.
just
So that kind of leads to, what does a man want? What does a woman want? What do we want? What do y'all want? Brian and
Mm.
James?
Peace.
Amen.
Ditto. Ditto.
Peace,
Ditto.
peace, peace.
what is peace? What is peace?
What does that look like to you?
So peace to me is this. Peace is when a woman comes in my life, she brings a level of accountability that does not let me get comfortable in just living my life in mediocrity or average. Real peace comes from the ability to choose correctly and be set in motion towards what is most appropriate. So bringing peace, which means that you are disrupting any behavior that is going to cause there to be conflict later. So when you bring that peace, you are coming in with a peace of mind that says you are not allowed to be less than the best version of yourself in motion. That's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Freedom from disturbance.
There
Okay.
you go.
Freedom from disturbance. Yes, James.
Peace for me is, let's be real, like in what I do and with everything that I do, I go through enough headaches. I have enough headaches. I go through enough drama. I'm not trying to come home and you add more drama and more headaches on top of the drama and the headaches that I've already dealt with. Like, give me that moment to where after I come home, it's not automatically a confrontation. Let me decompress for a little bit. And then we can have a conversation and deal with whatever you want to deal with. Like, give me a chance to kind of decompress from the rest of the world in order to get back to being able to be a better version of myself for you. Like, give me that time to kind of step away for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Give me my me time as well. If I need my me time, give me that. That is what I say my peace is.
What about you, Miss Dacia?
You can go. I'm still thinking about the whole peace thing because I feel like that too is just being thrown around, be my peace. So that's why I wanted to ask the definition of you young men, what your definition of it what was, because a lot of people, when I ask them, when they'll a lot of men will say just be my peace, and I'll ask them, what is that for you? They don't really know. So that's why I presented that question. I would like to hear your question, your answer first.
Okay. So peace is something that I have been holding on to for probably a couple years. My master's program, when I went through my professional coaching, um, I discovered peace then. I discovered that I had to let go of a lot pertaining to friends, pertaining to family, pertaining to jobs in order to truly get my peace, gain my peace. So to me, it is how I choose to live my day, how I choose to allow people in my space and what I'm going to let ruffle my feathers or not. How am I going to handle these people, right? So when I say, I'm not saying that I want my man to be my peace. I'm saying I want peace, period. That means I don't want any negative energy in my space, none. And if I feel it, I'm going to remove myself from it, whether it's mom, dad, daughter, friend, cousin, whoever. I don't want the peace in my life. I don't want it to be interrupted, right? Because to me, waking up every day, you have a choice. You choose. Your day may be horrible. I had an object fly off my car off a truck on Monday and cracked my windshield. Tuesday, parked at work and somebody knocked off my side view mirror. Now the old Tevas would have been fit to be tied, but I chose peace. Even my boss was like, "You're growing. You're growing. It's a choice, right?" So I choose. To me, that's what peace means in every aspect of my life. How I choose to handle situations that come my way.
So to sum it up, you kind of took towards the ending. I think you got to why I asked that question.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want someone to be my peace because I already have peace.
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can't nobody come and be my peace because you
Mm-hmm.
can't take that away from me.
That's right.
And so if you come and I feel it's taking me back to a place where I healed from,
Mm-hmm.
where it's disturbing
Mm-hmm.
the peace that's within me,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta go.
Yep.
Okay.
Period.
So I need someone to come and we work together and meet me where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can't come. I don't need you to come and be my peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because you should already be at peace to yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I asked that question, because I hear a lot of people saying it. I don't mean to get deep and stuff like that, but throwing around words and stuff. And I like, and just to pick people's brain, I like to ask, well, what does that look like to you? Well, she can't come and yell and, I want her. Well, then she should already be at that place where you're at. Because again, I don't mean to be biblically also. If God is working on me, he got me where I need to be to be ready to connect with another individual. That means that person that he's preparing for me should already be right there. Right. So I shouldn't have to worry about someone coming to be my peace. I'm already at peace. I already have peace. And so that's how about it.
Right. That's right. I feel that. Yep.
So y'all, this was a powerful episode tonight. I know we only go 30 minutes normally, but tonight, this was longer than a 30-minute episode because it was needed. Conversation like this was needed for our culture and for our community. So we thank y'all for tuning in tonight. What I want to do right now is I want each one of them to tell you where you can find them at, because y'all trust me, this will not be the last time. This will not be the last time that you will be seeing them. I promise you. Brian has been on here on a couple of occasions. Daisy's been on here once, but I promise y'all, Tavis, this was her first time, but this will not be her last time. Y'all get used to seeing their faces because they will be back again. So y'all get ready. And at this time, I want them to tell you where you can find them at so that you can start working with them and support them as well. So we're going to start with Miss Daisy, and we'll go to Miss Tavis, and then we'll go to Brian from there.
All right, so on Facebook, you can find me at Dacia Mitchell. That is DACIA Mitchell, MITCHELL. That's my regular social media page. If you're interested in my business, it is D Infusion on Facebook. That is D hyphen on top INFUZION. That's the infusion. And on Instagram, you can find me at Daisy like the flower _1. It's all together, no spaces. My business page on Instagram is the same, D Infusion, but it's D _ INFUZION. And that's where you can locate me on the social media.
All right.
So, sorry, I'm sorry.
You Go ahead.
Okay. So again, Tevis Haney. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter under Tevis Haney. The Tevis Haney on Instagram. My business Instagram page is Savette Empowerment Coaching. My website is www.savetteempowermentllc.com. And Savette is Tevis backwards. So SIVET Empowerment. And you can find me on any of those social media handles. Reach out on my webpage. My webpage, you can go in and schedule a 15 consultation. I do life coaching, but I also do professional business coaching. I don't fool with the numbers, but I do leadership and organizational development. I do have speaking arrangements at different uh, education programs on campuses and universities, as far down as early childhood education, which is my specialty. So trainings, coaching, consulting, opening up a program, leadership, organizational development. I got you. Life coaching. I'm here to help you on anything that you need. So just let me know if you need me.
All
Definitely.
right. So you can find me on Facebook under Brian Thomas. You can find me on Instagram at Coach BT316. You can find me on TikTok at Coach BT316. I also have a website, www.championshipcaliberconnections.com. You will be able to book a session for um, getting information on, you know, consulting with, whether it be life, a relationship, or if you're looking to get out here in the dating field, we can sit down, do a dating analysis to really get you going. But I'm here to help as many people as possible dive into healthy relationships. But most of all, I'm here to help you establish purpose so that when you do begin the right relationship, it can flow in the direction that is best fitting for the purpose that you've been called to be on the earth.
Amen. So y'all definitely get used to seeing their faces. As I said, this will not be the last time you see them. And as I always say, as we close out, please go listen to the podcast on the mall. It will drop at midnight. So go listen to that. And stay looking on Facebook and YouTube because wheels will be dropping from some of these nuggets that they have dropped to us on tonight. So stay looking on that. And as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning sometimes if we look at it as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And definitely tune in Friday, this Friday. Tune in because we got a special episode for y'all Friday celebrating 2 years of Real Talk Monday. So tune in. You never know who might drop in. You never know what announcements are going to be made. Just tune in and you'll find out some more information. So peace. See y'all on Friday. Love y'all.